Since World War II, stories of secret underground facilities have haunted people's imagination. Hidden beneath the surface, these places were rumored to be home to horrifying experiments, where human beings became test subjects in the pursuit of weapons too terrible to imagine.
And even today, many of these sites remain lost, scattered somewhere in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. But among them all, one name stands above the rest in sheer brutality: Unit 731. Known as the Laboratory of the Devil and the Auschwitz of the East, Unit 731 was a secret biological and chemical warfare program operated by Imperial Japan during World War II. Behind the walls of this facility, prisoners from multiple countries were taken into operating rooms and subjected to live dissections with no anesthesia, no mercy, and no chance of survival. Doctors deliberately infected people with deadly diseases, removed organs while their victims were still alive, severed limbs to study blood loss, and even injected animal blood into human subjects. Entire villages in China became unwitting targets as plague, cholera, typhoid, and other deadly bacteria were released into water supplies to study how epidemics spread. These were not the actions of madmen working in secret. They were carried out by trained scientists and military doctors, all in the name of research. This is the story of Unit 731, the most horrifying human experimentation program of World War II, and one of history's darkest secrets.
Before Unit 731 was established, General and Surgeon Shiro Ishii founded a chemical and biological experimentation group in Manchuria known as the Togo Unit at Zongma Fortress. Back in 1930, Ishii was serving as the chief medical officer of the Imperial Japanese Army. After spending 2 years overseas, he came back convinced that if Western countries were developing chemical and biological weapons, Japan had to do the same. And eventually, the military agreed. In 1932, Ishii was put in charge of the Army's Epidemic Prevention Research Laboratory. Not long after, he set up a secret facility inside Zongma Fortress, a prison camp about 100 kilometers south of Harbin. One of the people backing him at the time was Colonel Chikahiko Koizumi. Years earlier, during World War I, Koizumi had been involved in Japan's secret poison gas program. The Japanese military had seen how devastating Germany's chlorine gas attacks were during the Second Battle of Ypres, killing thousands of Allied soldiers, and they wanted their own version of that weapon. Later, when Koizumi became Japan's Minister of Health, Ishii gained even more power.
At the Togo Chemical and Biological Testing Unit, prisoners were well fed to ensure they were in the best physical condition for the cruel experiments. Afterward, they were completely drained of their blood or left without nutrients and water for days so that researchers could observe the entire process of the body weakening. In particular, some individuals were subjected to live vivisection if they lost consciousness or ran a high fever. Many unfortunate prisoners were also intentionally infected by doctors with bubonic plague and various other bacteria for research purposes. However, in the autumn of 1934, one of the prisoners at Zongma Fortress blew up a section of the prison and successfully escaped. In fear that their secrets would be exposed, Ishii closed down Zongma Fortress in 1935. Afterward, he received orders to relocate to the Pingfong district, about 24 kilometers south of Harbin, to establish a new, larger-scale chemical and biological testing facility called the Ishii Unit, marking the birth of Unit 731.
At this time, Unit 731 consisted of the Ishii Unit and the Wakamatsu Unit in Changchun, Jilin Province, China. To conceal his horrific human experiments, Ishii deceived the public by labeling his sinister covert research facility as a public health and medical research institution. In 1936, Emperor Hirohito issued an imperial decree to expand Unit 731 and integrate it into the Kwantung Army, a division of the Imperial Japanese Army occupying China. The official name of Unit 731 was the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department of the Kwantung Army. Although its publicly stated purpose was to prevent the spread of diseases and monitor the military's water supply to ensure safety, its true purpose was conducting human experimentation and developing biological weapons for the Second Sino-Japanese War, 1937 to 1945. Unit 731 was stationed in the Pingfang district of Harbin, where it seized 8 villages to construct its experimental facilities. Alongside the establishment of Unit 731, the decree also mandated the creation of an additional biological weapons development unit known as the Kwantung Army Anti-Epizootic Workshop, or Manchukuo Unit 100. As well as the Military Technical Inspection Bureau for Chemical Weapons Development, known as Unit 516. The Unit 731 network expanded across various cities in China and beyond, including Unit 1855 in Beijing, Unit 1644 in Nanjing, Unit 8604 in Guangzhou, and Unit 9420 in Singapore. At the peak of Ishii's network in 1939, this experimental unit employed over 10,000 personnel, including Japanese doctors and medical professors. In Tokyo, a branch of Unit 731 operated out of a medical school in the Shinjuku district. In 2006, Toyo Ishii, a nurse who worked there during the war, revealed that she had been tasked with burying human corpses and body parts on the school grounds following Japan's surrender in 1945. The unlucky victims used for experiments at Unit 731 were called maruta, which means logs. This name started as a joke among the workers because the facility hid under the cover of a lumber mill or wood factory. One trainer at Unit 731 recalled, "To me, they were just logs. You cannot look at a log as a person. Logs are already dead bodies. Now they are dying a second time, and we are just carrying out their death sentence." The test subjects came from many different backgrounds. They included dangerous criminals, robbers, rebels, political prisoners, and homeless people with mental or physical disabilities. Anyone caught by the Kempai Tai, the Japanese military police, for acting suspicious was also sent there. The victims were not just men, they also included babies, old people, and pregnant women. Among the long list of crimes committed by Unit 731, there were 6 main experimental programs so cruel that they still terrify everyone today.
Frostbite experiment. Biologist Yoshimura Hisato of Unit 731 became interested in hypothermia and came up with a series of frostbite experiments. He forced prisoners to place their arms or legs into tubs filled with ice water until the limbs froze and a layer of ice formed on the skin. He would then strike the frozen areas with a stick, causing the ice to crack. Yoshimura also tested different ways to warm the frozen limbs as quickly as possible, including putting them in hot water or holding them close to a fire. Although the Maruta victims were badly injured, he gave them no treatment. Instead, he left them overnight to observe how long it took for the frozen blood in their bodies to thaw. Vivisection experiments.
To study how diseases affected the human body, Unit 731 carried out vivisection experiments without anesthesia. Thousands of men, women, and children, most of them Chinese prisoners, elderly villagers, and other civilians, were deliberately infected with diseases such as cholera and plague, often under the false claim that they were receiving vaccines. Researchers then examined the victims' internal organs to observe how the illnesses progressed and how the body changed before and after death. Unit 731 also conducted other brutal experiments involving severe physical injuries and the destruction of body tissues in order to study their effects. Once the experiments were considered complete, the victims were killed and their bodies disposed of. Prisoners from China, Mongolia, Korea, and Russia who entered Unit 731 rarely left alive. Thousands are believed to have died inside the facility.
Syphilis experiments. Sexually transmitted diseases were a major concern for many armies during World War II, including Japan. To study the disease, doctors at Unit 731 deliberately infected prisoners with syphilis and observed its progression over long periods without providing proper treatment. Some victims were also given salvarsan, an early form of chemotherapy, so researchers could study its side effects. In order to continue their research, the disease was intentionally spread to other prisoners, who were then monitored to document how the illness developed over time. Experiments on pregnant women. Women of childbearing age imprisoned by Unit 731 were forced into pregnancies and used in studies examining how diseases, chemical agents, and wartime injuries affected unborn children. These experiments were conducted without consent and caused immense suffering to both mothers and infants. Development of biological weapons. The main mission of Unit 731, along with Units 1644 and 100, was to develop and test biological weapons that could be used against China and potentially the United States. Researchers cultivated deadly pathogens including plague, cholera, and typhoid, and carried out field tests to study how outbreaks spread among civilian populations. Historians believe that at least a dozen biological attacks were conducted, affecting numerous Chinese cities. Shiro Ishii and his team designed special bombs intended to disperse infected fleas and bacteria over large areas. Near the end of World War II, Japan even considered using plague-based biological weapons against targets in the United States. However, Japan surrendered before such plans could be carried out.
A legacy of horror. At the 2002 International Symposium on War Crimes and Biological Warfare in Changbei, China, experts estimated that around 580,000 people may have died as a result of Unit 731's activities. This figure includes both the victims inside the facility and civilians affected by biological attacks. Most of the victims were Chinese, although Russians, Mongolians, Koreans, and prisoners of war from Europe, the United States, India, Australia, and New Zealand were also among those affected. According to American historian Sheldon H. Harris, more than 200,000 people lost their lives because of Unit 731's experiments and biological warfare programs. Even Japanese soldiers became victims, with around 1,700 troops reportedly dying from outbreaks linked to these weapons. The end of Unit 731. In August 1945, as Japan surrendered, General Shiro Ishii ordered the destruction of Unit 731 and demanded that its secrets be buried forever. Buildings and records were destroyed in an attempt to erase all evidence of the program.
Despite leading the organization, Ishii received immunity from war crimes prosecution from the United States in exchange for handing over research data collected by Unit 731. Meanwhile, during the Khabarovsk trials in 1949, the Soviet Union prosecuted 12 senior members from Units 731, 1644, and 100. Sentences ranged from 2 to 25 years in prison. Recognition and controversy. For decades, Japan denied the existence of Unit 731. However, by the late 1990s, Japanese authorities reluctantly acknowledged its existence. In 2017, Japanese broadcaster NHK released The Truth of Unit 731 in Harbin, which featured testimony from former personnel and documents from the Khabarovsk war crimes trials. Even today, the crimes committed by Unit 731 remain a source of historical debate and tension, particularly between Japan and China. More than 80 years after World War II, the legacy of Unit 731 continues to stand as one of the darkest chapters in modern history.